All right, after ongoing pressure from nearly everyone in the know, not to mention that huge back down out of the US, Chris Bowen today did a backflip. He has, well, are the changes enough? I think he thinks he's out of the woods, but a lot in the motoring sphere are not so sure. What does my next guest think? Senior motoring journalist Paul Gover joins me. Well, you're my best expert here. A lot of smiley faces in that press conference, a lot of backslapping. I think we had Toyota and Tesla there. But confirmation, though, Paul, that the cost of vehicles will still go up. I guess my concern, we are a small market in Australia. Will we even get down the track the right-hand drive vehicles we know Australians want to drive now? What did you think of the announcement? Did it hit the mark?
I think it's a step in the right direction, but the most important thing is they still haven't told us what the trigger point is for penalties for CO2 emissions, which is what this is all about, and what the penalty amount is. So it's terrific that Toyota was there, but I think that, and you would expect Tesla to be there, they're greener than green, you just ask them, they'll tell you. I think the significant thing is the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries, which is supposed to be the peak body, were not there. That tells me they've been locked out. Mr. Bowen hasn't liked what they've had to say right from the start. And so they've basically gone direct to Toyota, which is the number one in Australia, and they're playing a game which Toyota will be able to guide them. But I think there are a lot of companies that are still wanting to see the detail, and they want to know how it's actually going to affect them. And most importantly, consumers, people buying cars.
I think the immediate response when he announced these new standards was, where's the modelling? Where's the modelling to back up these claims that driving these vehicles will be cheaper? We still haven't got that, have we?
No, and there won't be any modelling that says it's going to be cheaper to drive these vehicles, because apart from anything else, to get the cheaper fuel benefit, you're going to have to buy a new car. So that's pretty simple. If you've got an existing car, you have to buy a new car to get the benefit of the fuel. The other thing is, at no point has the government admitted the reason they're able to go ahead with this is because they, not the car companies, have finally caught up with the fact that we need better fuel in Australia. And the other thing that's interesting to me, there's been quite a lot of speculation that this has only come about because the Prime Minister has personally got involved. And what that tells you is probably that anything that resembles a so-called ute tax is not going to be a winner when it comes to election time.
Interestingly, that you, the motor expert, picked up that as well, because the politics of the PM getting involved says to me the polling is shocking, and something like a ute tax has caught on in marginal seats, and that's what's worrying them. Not that this is bad policy, it's just that it's bad politics. Just before we go, remind me of this mechanism. You're saying that they haven't given the detail out today about what the caps might be. I want to make sure everyone at home can follow how this is supposed to work. Run us through that again.
Okay, so every vehicle combustion engine makes CO2, bad gas. And the thinking behind all this is that you have a trigger number, and there were 3 trigger numbers in the original proposal. Well, for simplicity, let's call it 200. And that's across the average of your whole fleet of vehicles you sell in Australia. And then there's a penalty, which was talked about being $100 for every gram you're over 200 on your average, multiplied by the number of cars you sell in Australia. So you get pretty quickly to a big number. If you've got a diesel pickup, for example, that emits 230 grams of CO2, that's 30 times 100 times the number of cars you sell. And that's the detail we don't have. And that's the critical detail, because that'll, even though they've wound their targets back by 20%, that's going to be the number that affects the retail prices of cars from the middle of next year.
Paul Gover, thank you for your time.